for tonight. He is actually going to or is posting videos to his YouTube channel. He and Patrick Greenback there are making little segments here that will be available to you and to the world, and so that's very exciting. And I've asked Bobby to come here and to do some readings that are significant to this part of our trip here on the Sea of Galilee. So let's welcome Pastor Bobby.
Thank you. Yeah, this will, you're seeing us walk around with the camera. That's what we will be doing. We're just trying to regurgitate all the things that we're hearing at each of the places. And so we'll be able to put it on YouTube. So it'll be a place for you to kind of go and remember your visits. And those of you that don't like taking notes, we're doing it for you in video format. So hopefully that will be of service to you. Let me see where you wanted me to read Mark 4, verses 35 to 41. What a great story this is, where Jesus calms the storm. Just take this in for a moment and listen to the word of the Lord. On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was. And other boats were with him. And a great windstorm arose, and the waves were breaking into the boat, so that the boat was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" And he awoke and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. He said to them, "Why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith?" And they were filled with great fear and said to one another, "Who then is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" In the Gospel of Mark, in chapter 6, in verse 45 through verses 56, we read, "Immediately he made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, to Bethsaida, while he dismissed the crowd. And after he had taken leave of them, he went up on the mountain to pray. And when evening had come, the boat was out on the sea, and he was alone on the land. And he saw that they were making headway painfully, for the wind was against them. And about the fourth watch of the night he came to them, walking on the sea. He meant to pass by them, but when they saw him walking on the sea, they thought it was a ghost and cried out, for they all saw him and were terrified. But immediately he spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." And he got into the boat with them, and the wind ceased, and they were utterly astounded, for they did not understand about the loaves, but their hearts were hardened. And you want me to go through 56? Okay. When they had crossed over, they came to the land of Gennesaret. How do we say that? Is that right? I'm a little intimidated in the Holy Land pronouncing these words. Right? And moored to shore. And when they got out of the boat, the people immediately recognized him and ran about the whole region and began to bring the sick people on their beds to wherever they heard he was. And wherever he came, in villages, cities, or countryside, they laid the sick in the marketplaces and implored him that they might touch even the fringe of his garment. And as many as touched it were made well.
Let's have a word of prayer now and ask the Lord just to continue to speak to our hearts and to refresh our hearts and to renew our hearts as we consider the life of Jesus. Lord, we thank you for being here today. We're so grateful that the story of Jesus is set in history and we can see it, and today we can experience it, and we can think about the reality that Jesus was a real person, God in the flesh, calming the storm, casting out demons, calling men and women to be his disciples, teaching in the synagogues, spending time with you.